Hey, filmmakers. Hey, audiences. Welcome to another Q&A of the 2024 San Francisco Independent Short Film Festival.
Woo.
We are fortunate to have some of the filmmakers here with this program. Hey, guys. Hey, filmmakers.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello.
Thanks for being here. Congratulations to you guys, not only for getting into our film festival, but just finishing a freaking film. We know how hard it is, so well done. Alex, you're first on my screen here. Let me just have you introduce yourself. I'll go around the room, but introduce yourself, your film and your role and where you're calling from.
Sure. My name is Alex Goldberg. I'm calling in from Burbank, California, and my short film is Broad Daylight.
Right on. Thanks for being here. Richard, you're next on my camera. Your
Yeah,
name, your role, and your film.
sure. My name's Richard Botris. I'm the writer, director, and actor of the comedy Part-Time Criminals.
Great to have you. Thanks for being here. Nick, how about you next?
I'm Nicholas Botris. I'm Richard's twin brother, and I'm an actor and contributing writer on Part-Time Criminals. I play Taylor.
Right on. Thanks for being here, Nick. And last but not least, Jacob in his car somewhere.
Hi, my name I'm Jacob Potashnik. I'm sitting outside the Black Duck restaurant in Sackville, New Brunswick. The film is called La Viande, which means meat.
Meet.
And you know what? Since the camera's on you, Jacob,
Yeah.
it feels kind of funny with a little bit of the parking lot mood here. What was the inspiration for your film? What was the seed, the spark that started it all?
I do a lot of work with emerging talent from minority communities. And one of my mentees, Fimo Mitchell, wrote the screenplay. He couldn't get it done within his community. And he just asked me, if I would do it with him. And I said, absolutely. And it was a great little script. It's a great little two-hander. And that's it. I financed it, and we directed and produced it, and you've seen it.
What do you mean by two-hander?
Two characters.
Got it, got it. And he came to you with the script. How did he knew you through your program that you?
Well, as I said, he was a mentee. I mentored him in one of the programs I do work with, and he's a great guy. And he had a burning desire to get something done, and so he wrote the screenplay. It was a very short, 6 minutes, and he tried to get it done like with a friend, and it didn't work out. And he turned to me and said, would I want to do this? And I said, absolutely. The script was great. We found fantastic actors. I think you'll agree. The two guys in the film, Fabrice and Wood Alder, are they're real actors. They're professional.
Yeah.
So that was it, and it was a pleasure. We shot in one day, one location, and there you go.
Yeah, the acting is brilliant. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. Wonderful actors. Nicholas and Richard, what was the inspiration for your film? Can't hear you.
It actually came from the love of theater and being around community theater for as long as we have, and just sort of watching theaters struggle to make a buck, to produce their next production, and what would happen if we sort of ramp that up into a comedic place.
So are you involved in the theater already?
Yes, yes. I've done over 100 plays. I've been part of the theater for decades, and actually, I'm sort of transitioning from theater over to film now. And this story is sort of part of that transition.
Yeah.
And doing theater with my brother, producing plays, and the stress of all of that, and how it works, and then sort of creating a story behind it.
Yeah. It's funny. I just heard a quote from Coppola recently, like today on the social media feed. He basically says filmmakers should go do one act plays, stage plays, before they make films for inspiration and experience.
Wow.
Yeah, and I found
Yeah.
that interesting because a lot of the films that have started in theater, was this a theater play by chance or a script for a theater show?
That's a great question, because I originally wrote this as a one act. It
Ah,
was going to be a one act on stage, and I originally envisioned this as a play.
hmm
And
And then
once,
did you find it lent itself to? I mean, it came out well as a short film.
yes, yeah, and I was actually pleasantly surprised how it all came together. Um, and Pete, he was the English guy, the newscaster, and what he brought to the role. I kind of had it like a weatherman on the spot, somewhere out there, where he kind of took an investigative reporter
Yeah.
turn with it. And yes, it translated well to to the screen, thankfully.
That was a nice touch. That was funny.
Yeah.
That gave it a
Yeah.
nice little punch for sure. Alex, what was your inspiration for Broad Daylight?
Well, first off, props to you, Richard. I'm a playwright first, so this was a play. So Broad Daylight started off as a 10-minute play, a park bench play, and it's one of my most produced plays produced around the world. And so the inspiration was twofold. One, my grandmother, when she was going near the end of her life, after she passed, we realized that all the crazy racist things she was saying and the filter that was gone was early onset dementia. And that's what that was. And the second part was reading about the sheer number of times that people have abandoned people that they've been caring for. And this happens far more often than you can imagine. And that's what I was like, what does it take for someone to be at this level of where they have no other choice to go? That said, the caveat is I'm really glad that we're in the Laugh Out Loud block because it is a comedy. So like, and people who have gone through this have come up to us after screenings and be like, thank you for allowing us to laugh at this, because yeah, in the depth of tragedy, there are some funny moments there that are
Yeah. Yeah, life is funny. And I didn't know how to feel though. That's what I also liked about it. Like I didn't know like am I in agreement with this, or am I, or should I laugh? How do I feel about this? This is perplexing, but it's
how
wonderful.
you felt is the correct way to feel.
Yeah, and well, let's talk about the acting, because the one reason, as Jacob said, the brilliant actors in his film, all the acting in these films are appropriate or spot on or excellent. Especially, I mean, both your actors, Alex, but especially the mom or the grandma. I can't remember. Is she mom or grandma?
Yes, she was a mom.
She's brilliant. She's brilliant.
She's wonderful. Angie Bird is fantastic. Both of them are great. And we did this during the pandemic as a Zoom play. We were in a festival in New Jersey and we got to perform it. And when the festival ended, our actors were like, what if we made it to a short film? We were like, well, let's do that. And we did it. And Angie Bird is truly fantastic. She, a lady won't share her age, but I'm not a lady. So I will. And well, a little bit. She's in her mid 80s.
Wow.
So when she was in her mid 80s. And then to give credit to our actor, Tim, to make a comparison, like Tim had the harder job. Tim was, Angie's like Dustin Hoffman in Rain Man. Tim is like Tom Cruise. So he's got to do all of the back and forth without getting it from the person. So Tim does a great job as well. Both of them were great. And as any of the people here can attest, your job as a director is much easier when your actors are good. Yep.
So true. So, Richard, were you the director of your film?
Yes, I was.
So how was it directing your brother? Was he a pain in the ass, or did you cast him? How did that work out? How was that relationship?
Nick was great. He wrote, I had a draft and I sent it to him, and we started. He lives in Portland, I live in Sacramento. So I sent it to him and we were sort of sending it back and forth, and kind of, he was my sawing board. So he understood the character innately when he came down to Sacramento to shoot this. And well, we both had a pretty good understanding of who Taylor was. I don't really like getting into like the acting stuff. I like talking more about character, what's going on inside, what's, with lack of a better phrase, what's motivating the character. And Nick, I think, developed and understood that. And all I had to do was just kind of guide him to, right, just move the levels a little bit. He really showed up and understood what did
you have a little bit of him in mind when you were writing this?
Yes. Okay. I actually wrote it with both of us in mind, and I also wrote it with Will Makozak in mind, who was the actor who played Les.
Now, this is a silly question, but how was directing yourself?
I've done it before, and I actually lean on the other actors that are around. So, for instance, Will Makozak, who's has a wealth of experience in acting. One of them, my most favorite actors. I could look over and lean and say, is this working? Is this not working? Is there something I can or can't be doing? And I think you need that. You need someone that you can trust, that can say, hey, Rick, you're over the top, or maybe you got to bring it down. And Nick and Will were those guys for me. They were my co-directors.
Right. And you got to have collaborators that are like putting the project first and not their egos first, right? And,
absolutely. Paramount.
Nicholas, how was working with your brother. Have you guys worked together a lot? And was it just like, all right, let's go and play
It's
again?
been a long time since we've worked together. You know, I lived in Hawaii. He was in California. I went to Portland. So it had been a long time. So it had been a dream of his to get us to work together again. So it was great to come onto this project. And he sent me the script. I read it. I said it needed some work, and we got to work on it. And really proud of where it started and where that script ended.
Yeah, yeah. Turned out well. Good result. You might want to turn up your volume a little bit if you can. And hey, Jacob, how about you? Casting process. You didn't have to cast it, or where'd the second actor come from?
Actually, I did. I mean, the two actors, Fabrice and Wood, Alder, were involved in previous mentorships that I did. And my problem was kind of unique in the sense I was, myself and the cameraman were the only white people on the project. Everybody else in front and behind the camera were black from the Afro-descendant community. So I had a lot of faith. I trusted the two actors to check me and to check themselves. They're both from originally have Haitian origins. And oftentimes, you know, we do a take and we could use some dialogue, and I'd stop and I'd turn around behind me, and there'd be like this gallery of black technicians and artists, and I'd say, "Is that right? Did I get that right?" And they go, "Yeah, keep going. It's great. One of the fun things about Wood and Fabrice is initially I had the roles reversed. I had Wood playing Carl and Fabrice playing Jay. And we had them for dinner. We had like a kind of an introductory dinner at my place with the writer, and we ran through the script a couple of times. And my wife Pascal is also from the arts community. She was an actress in experimental theater. We kind of looked at each other, and we just on a spur of the moment, I said, "Guys, flip the roles. So Wood, you play Jay, and Fabrice, you play Carl." And then it just clicked. It clicked. It was like a machine coming together and the teeth meshing, and it was perfect. And you know, Carl has the kind of the Joker part of the duo, and Jay is the more serious, and it just worked perfectly that way.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, you know, so many times it's like it's not only just getting the lead cast right, but you know, getting the relationship right. In real life, these people work well together. Alex,
They really do.
Yeah,
they really do.
Yeah, they work really well together. Alex, you're two people. Did you just know when you had them, or did you have to do what do you call it? You know, practice runs, rehearsals of those two actors together.
You know, we did for the play. So when we did it as a play, we rehearsed, and it was during pandemic, so we rehearsed separately, and then we finally got to rehearse together, which was great. So for the movie, we did, you know, about a week or so of rehearsals, but it was, and we walked them through like the outside stuff, like all the interior stuff is a lot of quick cuts, so we didn't have to do a lot of heavy rehearsal. But there's that long talk shot that's going back and forth between them, like 3 minutes, and that took a little rehearsal. But they're both, again, theater actors, so that's their wheelhouse. They're able to.
They had good chemistry together.
They had great chemistry. A lot of fun. Couldn't have switched them up the roles like you did, which I admire, Jacob. That would have been cool. That would have been weird in my movie if I swapped them out.
Maybe a good exercise though for actors. Who knows? And then Richard, Nicholas, how is the chemistry between you two?
Great.
Great.
How else are you going to answer, right? I don't want to start a brotherly fight right here, right?
Well, you know, the truth is, when we were younger and we did theater and we produced plays, we fought a lot. I mean, we really, and it was just passion. It was, you know, what's the direction, what, you know, and I think those growing pains, when we shot this movie, we didn't fight at all. We didn't have any conflict. And I think we've worked through that in the past. You know, we produced plays and we did things like that. And so I think working together, we had a long break. We didn't do anything for about 10 years together. So this was kind of a reunion project. And all of that just kind of went away, and we brought our best attitudes. Right. And it worked. You know, when you're passionate about things, you feel strongly, right? And we didn't.
Do you guys think you have an advantage or some sort of like benefit, like shortcut rapport or something, because you're, you know, brothers?
Yeah, when we both find something funny, it's in.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost, there's certain times when we're writing together we just that's got to go in. That's funny. Or a lot of things in there are small references to other things that we always talk about as well.
And you don't have to ask each other like, is this funny or not? You guys have like the same sensibilities just naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. What was one of the most challenging things for you guys? So making, besides a movie being challenging, Nicholas, Richard, what was a challenging element to your production?
I
Probably
really
the acting.
the acting, yes. Yeah, we're actors first, so it was making sure that we had good performances across the board. One of the things I'm most proud of with Part-Time Criminals is I think all the performances are strong. There isn't one that you go, "Ooh, that." Sometimes you watch a film and one character's kind of bringing down the story through performance, and I don't think that happened in Part-Time Criminals. And that's one of the things I would also say that, just the most challenging thing was Nick and Will, who played Taylor and Les, flew in from out of state. So we had about 4 days to really shoot all the interior stuff in the theater. We rehearsed on the phone on Thursdays and Sundays, and we did phone rehearsals. We really couldn't get together. We had one rehearsal where we walked through the theater and it was mostly just, here are your marks. Here's where we're going to do this. This is the moment. And we didn't do a lot of takes. I think if we did 4 or 5 takes of any one shot, that was a lot. So we shot, we set up, and we moved on.
Right.
And mostly we didn't have a lot of time. We had 2 days in the theater that were lent to us. Right. So we were against the clock as well. But we got through those challenges, as I'm sure these other filmmakers can say as well.
Yeah. Jacob, what was a major challenge? Any big challenges for you? You shot in a day, did you say?
We shot in one day in one location. It was kind of planned that way because I was financing it myself with some favors from friends.
And it cost millions of dollars, right?
Yeah, exactly. Something really banal is that I'm quite old, and I was one of the first people back in the day to buy Final Cut Pro, and I cut on that for years and years, but I haven't cut for a long, long time, and I really did want this to be my film. I wanted to get back and learn about editing, and it was a very steep curve. I finally found Lightworks as the one that was most intuitive for me. But it sounds crazy, it sounds very banal, but that was the biggest challenge because the performances were great. I had this luxury of being able to pick and choose from takes that were just better and better, and that wasn't an issue. Right. That wasn't a problem. We had some focus problems because whatever, but just getting into editing again and learning how to work a simple editing platform was the challenge, and I did it, and I'm very happy, very pleased with myself.
Yeah. We are too. You should be. Alex, any challenges?
Yeah, our challenge.
Besides that walking and talking shot?
Yeah, well, that was easy. They nailed it. Like every time. The challenge was for our DP who's carrying the camera, and that's a lot because the AC who kept lifting it on and off of him. At the end of the day, he had a previous back injury, and he was like, "I'm done. We had to get a new AC."
Oh wow!
And the DP was fine, but the challenge for us was actually the race between racing funds and summer coming, and because we had 2 of 3 days outside. Like I kept saying this as a mantra, we are not going to kill our leading lady. Like we can't have 2 days out in the full sun. So if we don't get our funding in by mid-June, we're going to have to push until like October. As LA weather, summer is like late June until like late October. So like if we can't shoot it by mid-June, we're done until near Thanksgiving. And so it finally came through. We got the funding. We shot on a gorgeous weekend. It was like 72 degrees. And then the next weekend, it was like 95.
Wow.
And one additional shout out to our actress who her one request during the outdoor days was she's like, listen, after lunch, if it's okay with you, I have a little mattress in the back of my pickup. Can I take a 20-minute nap? And again, she's in her mid 80s. And we're like, that's a reasonable request. Like, everyone's SAG after on this contract. So like we're adhering to all the rules, but like we can also give you that. Of course, Angie, you can take a nap in the back of your van, her car, and she used it 0.0 times. She never ever took that nap.
Right.
She asked for it. We gave it to her, never needed it. She's a.
Well, this may be an ageist question, but I'm just curious because I haven't worked with actors that old yet. How prepared was she with her lines or her dialogue? Was memory an issue? I mean, I have a hard time memorizing a script or whatever because she was flawless.
It was it took a little while to warm up on the first day. So the first hour of shooting, and again, all of the park stuff was our day one. So the park bench and leading up to the park bench. And there was a couple of retakes because she was easing into the lines, but then she got there and she was there the rest of the way, the rest of the day. Like, and again, we tried to give her concessions like, can we drive you to our location? She's like, nah, I'm fine. I got my car. It's all good. And she's fine. But I've seen her do theater, and I've seen her do we've worked together with a theater company in Glendale, the Antaeus Theater Company. I've seen her do 3-hour plays, and like her stamina levels, where she's up and down off the floor, and like she is just one of those people who genetics has blessed her, but also
exactly
discipline too. That
yeah,
sort of thing. So that wasn't an issue.
Yeah, I write my own scripts and I can't remember my own writing, and then the actors come along and they write it. So Richard, I mean, you must have a brilliant photographic memory.
Oh no, I still write down on little index cards all my lines, and I put the cue line on there, and I've done that for years. And I go through. I remember one year I was doing Shakespeare in the Park, and I dropped all of my cue cards on the ground in front of everyone. And a couple rehearsals later, I look around and the other actors are having cue cards as well. So I was like, oh, well, the secret's out now, and you just go through them. And if I have a scene, I'll go through just that scene, and when I do the plays, when I'm backstage, I'm going through my lines, and it isn't until halfway through the run that I'm actually off book.
Right.
So, yeah,
right.
it's.
And then you said earlier, like, then you kind of play off the other actors. So does that trigger your memory too? It's like they say a line, like then it just kind of kicks in.
Oh yeah, I'll write a thing. I'll write the cue line, right, which is the line the actor says before my line. So when I hear that line, I instantly go, okay, this is where I come in.
So, how about you, Nick? How's your memory?
Pretty good. I try and memorize everything. I want to be outbooked as quickly as possible. I want to try and have it all locked in because the acting doesn't start till you get the line.
Yeah.
And then Jacob, your actors, they were brilliant. How was their memorization of the script? It was a short film, but
they were great. I mean, what it came down to is because they're speaking French, and they're from the Haitian community, and so there's a level of how shall I say this, accent, and they're young. So they're like every young people in the world, they speak very rapidly and they contract a lot of words. So, my ear is for, I'm really great with standard French, but when it gets into like very kind of specialized ethnic communities who have their own kind of rhythm and beat, I had to make sure that at least it was standard enough so that, French people all over the world could understand it. And so I was always checking, because sometimes they were so rapid and so quick, but great, and they were finding nuances and little laughs and little bits of humor, little turns of phrase. But that's, again, I had my chorus behind me of Afro-descendant people, and I kept looking, going, did you understand that? Did you hear what he said? Okay, what did he say? Okay, great, move on. So it was just really a question of making sure that the language was standard enough, but still anchored well within their community, within the Haitian French community. So otherwise, it was fine.
Yeah, maybe one or two more questions. Jacob, how do you feel about the finished result?
I'm very proud of it. Actually, I'm very proud of it. More so because first of all, the two actors can't wait to get back to do those characters again.
Yeah.
They're both working actors. They both stopped their day jobs. They have a film coming out. You might end up seeing it. It's called the Dernier Repas, which is the last meal. Very good film, set in Haiti and in Montreal. So they want to do it. Fimo Mitchell, who wrote the screenplay, has already given me a pilot for an English language version of these two guys. It's also really, really good. So it's been inspiring. Plus, again, the reception from festivals like yours, it's just very heartwarming. And it's nice to know that it's getting out there, it's being seen, and people like it. And so, again, for an old guy like me, it's very satisfying.
Right on, good. How about for you, Nicholas? How are you happy? Are you happy with the results?
I'm thrilled with the results. Seeing, you don't know if the jokes are going to work. You don't know if it's going to happen. and to see it all come through for fruition, it's been a great experience, and I couldn't be happier with the film. And
Yeah, many independent films don't even get to the finish line, let alone making a festival worthy film.
Thank you.
Pretty good for our
Richard,
first
how
film.
about you? Did you realize what you originally envisioned?
Well, I originally wrote the three characters, which was Will, Nick, and I realized it needed more. So that's where the Bubblegum Bandit came in, the TikTok video, the newscaster. And so once I went away from like a theater idea to a film idea, I think that's where it really started to come together, when I moved away from the one act theater idea. And that's what the great thing about film is, that you can do those things. And thank you, Jason, so much for allowing us to be part of your festival.
You're very welcome. It's all you. It's all you. Alex, you achieve your results, achieve your goal, make your film you want?
Yeah, I'm sure as everyone on the panel can relate, like the actors have a bit of a disconnect, because if things don't go well, they can blame us. The writers and the directors, the buck stops with us. So when you're in the middle of a screening, you get a sense of how it feels. And I felt really good. We've had 3 public screenings so far, anywhere from like 25 people up to like 200 people. And the audience, I can tell when they're with us, and it's usually right about the Miami Vice joke conversation going on there. And they're in for the ride. So I'm able to relax as a writer and be like, they're with me. They may not love it by the end of the day or the choices that are made, but they're with us, and that's what matters. So yes, I'm happy. Could I change things? We all could change things. Yeah, yes, I'm happy with what we have, where we are, and I'm glad to be on the ride with everyone every time we see it. And
Yeah.
yes, thank you for having us, because as all of us can attest, it is real hard to get into film festivals. It is not easy, and there's a lot of rejection. And they say it's what, 5 to 10% acceptance rate or something like that. So
Yeah, it's not very good.
we do get in, we celebrate. So thank you for having
You're welcome.
us.
Yes.
Like, go.
If you're not good at rejection, right, you shouldn't be in this business or be an actor or a director.
But that's the double-edged sword, is that as artists, we're supposed to be sensitive enough and empathetic enough to grow and fester and build beautiful things, but then also thick-skinned enough to be like, hey, you just got rejected again for no apparent reason. You know what I mean? Like, you have both. And it really sucks. But
it's not for the faint of heart. Yeah, for sure. Well, let me end on this question for all of you. Alex, run you, what's a highlight? What's a takeaway? Something you learned
from
this whole process, from making this movie? Yeah, is there a highlight, one highlight, or a takeaway?
Just love directing, and every chance I get to do it is every day on set is a great day for me. And I've directed 3 shorts and 2 features, and all of those days stacked together are some of the best professional days of my life.
So it reinforced it. It reinforced it, and you want to make another movie.
It reinforced it. I can say this now that we've wrapped and the movie's done, but like the days were pretty easy. And like, yes, you go through 100 decisions a day, and you might mess up 20 or 30 of them, but it's still worth it. It's still worth it to play that, to be able to do that with your life.
Yeah.
Every day on set, it's a great day.
Right on. Nick, did you learn anything? What's the takeaway?
The takeaway for me is that humor is universal. Something that if you can make somebody young, old, all different ethnicities laugh. I played it for my children. They're 12 and 11. I was nervous, and to watch them laugh was probably my best moment.
Oh, right on, right on. Richard, a takeaway, something you learned, a highlight?
For me, first, the highlight is Will McCozak and Nick. It was kind of getting the band back together. When I lived in Hawaii, we did a lot of theater together. We haven't done anything together. So the highlight for me was getting my friends, my theater friends who love acting and love performing together. And I think the lesson is to not give up, because I gave up on this story. I thought I was going in circles. I didn't quite know where, a beginning, middle, and end, and that it was moving. And then it just started to come together, and writing is rewriting. And that's what I learned. Writing is rewriting. Keep plugging away. I know you're a writer, Jason. You probably know this as well. And so that's really the takeaway, is keep keep plugging away if you got a good premise.
Right on. Persistence, tenacity. Jacob, you're last but not least. What'd you learn? As an old guy, just to quote you, as the old guy, did you learn anything and a highlight?
I did. I reminded again that if you treat artists and technicians with respect, if you make them part of the process, if you invite them into the world, they're going to bring it. They're going to be there. They're going to bring it. They're going to take the same pride that you take, and they're going to bring it. They're going to be invested in the process. It's like I've been on the innumerable sets, big, small, multi-million, whatever. And sometimes you go, it's a bank job. They're just doing this for the money.
Yeah.
In a small format like this, if you treat people with respect, including the invitational dinner we had, just to everybody get to know each other, they bring it and they become invested, and they come back to you with like, well, what do you think of this? And what do you think of that? If you make that part of the process, you're golden, and it makes you feel great.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, choose your collaborators wisely, and respect each other. And we respect you guys, and we chose wisely getting your films in our festival. So well done.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Everybody, that's another Q&A for the 2024 San Francisco Short Film Festival. Thank you very much. Watch more great indie films at sfindy.com. Filmmakers, pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
Take care. All the best, you guys.
We'll see you again.
Thank you so much, everyone.